over. Put your hands behind your head.
I have no fear of death. It just means dreaming in silence.
You're an original, aren't you?
I'm gonna assume the people that are watching this are around my age. I'm in my early 20s, I'm 22. I was born in the 90s, but I wasn't a 90s baby. I was like an early 2000s kid. So that means I was conscious during the early 2000s, which was basically the 90s extended. I'm just gonna be honest. It was just like the extended 90s. One thing that I wanna talk about, you're around like 6, 7, 8 years old, you know? It's like what, 2006, 2007. And you know, it's a Friday night. Your parents are like, yeah, you can stay up, whatever. You know, you don't got school the next day. It's the weekend. And you know, you're just, the one thing that you did was watch TV. Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon. Those are the things you watched. Hit up the couch, hit up some snacks, throw on some Cartoon Network, and I'm good. That was a great night, you know? Like I said, you're around that age, you're 6, 7, 8 years old, whatever, and 9 o'clock rolls around or 8 o'clock rolls around, whenever Cartoon Network just ended for the day, and there was like a flip, right? There was always a flip on Cartoon Network, which is, you all know, Adult Swim. Now, Adult Swim will come on, and in your mind, you know, if you live in a semi-strict household, you know that like Adult Swim, you can't touch Adult Swim. You can't do that. Like as soon as Adult Swim hit and like Family Guy or King of the Hill came on, I was like, oh my gosh, this is grown-up cartoons. I can't watch this. So I'd spent a lot of time running away from Adult Swim for a while, but like one day I decided, like, what is, you know, I think my parents were gone, or like I was alone. I was like cooling, and I was able to do it without any stress, like watch Adult Swim without any stress. So I was like, you know what, let me see what this is about. So I watched Adult Swim. Family Guy came on. It was like a really crude and a vulgar TV show, at least for as a kid watching. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, this is kind of like fun to watch, right? I mean, you didn't get any of the jokes, but you watched it anyway. You would watch this, and there would be a point, especially on the weekends, Adult Swim had this program called Toonami. Now, if you don't know much about Toonami, it was basically a way to introduce anime to the West, pretty much, right? That was like its gateway, was Toonami. I'm sure there were other channels you could go to watch anime, but Toonami, I remember, was like a big one. Toonami would air, and now that era, right, that opened my eyes to anime. I didn't get into anime for real until I was like in high school, but that showed me that this is a thing. I remember how cool it was. Like obviously then I couldn't pinpoint why it was so cool, but it was so cool. The bumpers are basically little videos that they would show before and after an episode would come back from commercial break. If it was going into commercial break, it wouldn't go right into the commercial. It would go into a bumper, and it would basically be an advertisement for a different show, or it would be an advertisement for the current episode that's airing. And then it would do the commercial. The show would come back, but it would do a bumper, like telling you that it's about to come back, and then it would show you. So, but the way that they would do it, it was so like cool and clean. Like it was hype. Like that's the only thing I could describe it as. It was hype. Super cool music, like a voiceover from some deep voice dude, and just like cool visuals for the anime that was airing or about to air. So it was always like coming back, Dragon Ball Z.
61 million fans can't be wrong. Dragon Ball Z coming up next. The stage which will not fall again. Only Toonami.
As a kid watching that, it was just hype, right? It was, and older Toonami, they always had like inspirational speeches, or like they would say like really nice things while cool footage is happening in the background. I don't know, it would always be like Goku and Frieza fighting, right? And then like the cool voice is playing in the background as well, and he's like, it's cool to fight on your own, but sometimes you gotta have friends to have your back. something cool like that, and it would have whatever would be playing in the background would be in context with what he's saying.
A real friend will always be there for you.
Ryuko, you dropped this. Thanks, Mako.
But being a true friend is just as important.
Please be okay!
Nobody treats my friends that way!
Lending a hand when they need it.
Get out of there!
Or not judging someone for who they are.
Sora, come back to
A
us!
friend is a powerful weapon.
Get your hands off her!
So if you're feeling down,
Reach down!
reach out for a friend. And when you're feeling good, look to give someone else a boost.
No matter who you are, ain't no one born into this world to be alone!
Because we're all in this together. We might as well be friends.
So there was like a bunch of cool little things that I like. Toonami growing up was always super cool. It gave you that, like, it made your blood pump, you know, like it was just so cool. It got you hyped to watch the show. Like you would be in a commercial break, and then sometimes like the show would just come back, and you're like all right, I guess we're watching the show's back, right? But for Toonami, it would always just be like, we're back, get ready, because Goku's gonna kick some ass.
Piccolo, a man divided, a link between two worlds. His power alone could save the Earth.
Unreal!
When enemies come calling, bring it on. He's happy to oblige. Dragon Ball Z, weekdays at 5:30. Power up. Only Toonami.
Like it would always be some crazy stuff, and then like it would go back to the show. I'm like, oh heck yeah, let's go, let's see. Like you would get hyped. As far as what they showed, or what was like what aired on Toonami, it was always like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto, Cowboy Bebop, which originally aired in Toonami in 1998 or 1998, something like that. I'm not too sure. Full Metal Alchemist, Inuyasha, Big O, like. Oh man, like those shows were so cool when I was able to watch it. I was just like, you can always watch it now, you know. You can, it's instant. You got Crunchyroll, Verve, you got all these different things. But in that, growing up and watching it in that context, right? I mean, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. There was even a little story going on within Toonami, you know, like. It was there was this robot guy, played by Steve Bloom, huge fan of Steve Bloom. He voiced Spike off of Cowboy Bebop, some Starscream from Transformers, not the movies, but like the TV show, one of the TV shows. I know, like don't flame me. I know a bunch of different other characters, but he voiced this robot that would kind of like head the bumpers and stuff like that. They would be on a ship. He would be the captain of the ship. He would have like a first mate. He would have like other crewmates. But there was this ginormous ship in space, and they were always traveling somewhere. And you always knew Toonami was about to air when it transitioned into space, and like you saw the ship that was like flying through, and you knew it was like, yes, let's go. Toonami never just aired or never just started. It always started with the robot, Steve Bloom's character, like walking through, turning on his ship pretty much. And he would get to the captain's quarters or the cockpit. He would like press the button, or he would tell his crewmate to like go or whatever, and they would always like, you know, initiate Toonami pretty much by turning on the ship. And then once the ship is turned on, Toonami would like air, and then like you would go into like watching the shows, and it was so cool, man. There's just nothing like it. It's just nothing like it, you know. As far as like, if you're an anime lover, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I wasn't able to watch it as much as I wanted to. So the people that did watch Toonami, you guys know for sure. Early, I obviously, like, I wasn't able to be conscious and like actually do things that I wanted to until I was like, you know, 6, 7, 8 years old, and I was starting to remember things. So I was past that era of Peter Cullen being the voice of Toonami. If you don't know who Peter Cullen is the voice of Optimus Prime.
Let's roll.
Toonami existed, but like that little story that I said earlier about the robot and like Steve Bloom's character and like the ship and stuff like that, like their own little story, that wasn't a thing quite yet. So it would just be Peter Cullen in the booth laying down bars before and after like the TV show would air. Coming up next, Cowboy Bebop. Obviously I don't got the voice like that, but like it was just smooth. I mean, like, come on, dude, it was too nice. You just couldn't beat it. Like, that's like some of the coolest stuff that I remember as far as like growing up. But just wanted to talk about that. But yeah, subscribe. I mean, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. You know, I do gaming videos, I do podcasts. I'm gonna do more videos like this. This was not really like prepared. It was just like hit record and talk. But I'm gonna do more prepared videos down the line. But yeah, if you like what you see, I mean, shoot, support your boy. Peace.